All right, I'll call to order the meeting here at 6 o'clock for the Berne Tree Board. We do have enough members here for a quorum. First thing on the, second item on the agenda, we have a presentation here, the South Adams Trails. Laura Swartz and Jeremy Lotzenheiser talk about the proposal you have for the trees along the trail down.
Yeah, just to give a quick update, we have the trail in all the way from 700 to the senior center. We've seen lots of activity on it. It's been great. Later this week, we'll be breaking ground on the trail arch to the entrance, which then kind of leads into putting the trail back together, landscaping it, making sure grass, fences, all that stuff's going in. Part of that is our tree plan that's going to extend from the softball fields parking lot south all the way to 700. We have a plan for 52 trees. That includes shade trees, a few shrubs and grasses, and some beds at the beginning and the end. Everything in between is a shade tree or some kind of decorative flowering or evergreen type tree that's not going to get as large, but still provide shade needed to commute and walk, run, bike the trail from senior center to 700, where it gets more dense once you cross over 700 heading towards Geneva. I emailed plans to Nathan. Wasn't sure if he shared those out. I shared those to you. I can pass these around if you want to look at them.
I didn't email those out this afternoon. I got those late. Sorry about that, guys. Do you want to bring that up?
Yep.
Set it here on the.
I can bring one to this side
thank you.
too.
The 25 on the side.
Oh, so when we discuss this as a trail board, having the farms on the east side, you can see in some of those pictures the property line. They farm about 25 to 30 feet over the property line onto the city property, or right now the trails property. I think that is, I'm fine with that. That's less mowing for the city. That's less maintenance. And in doing so, if we plant trees on that side of the trail, eventually they will be so big that it will possibly disturb or disrupt farming on that side. A lot of the usage on the trail is in the morning, where temperatures are down, and then later in the evening when the sun is active on the west side of the trail. So if we put the majority of the trees, about 80%, 85% of the trees on the west side, you'll get the most shade on the trail in the evening when temperatures are a little warmer. Moving from the senior center south, we have a bed right there by the parking lot. You'll see a split rail fence that we're installing. There's going to be two accesses to the trail from the parking lot, so patrons can park and move to the trail and move towards the softball field or to the senior center, whichever way they'd like to go. We'd like to make that a bed, just so it's more landscaped, more pleasing to the eye, and then have a few trees that are individual right there. And then continuing south to the back of the softball diamond, there is a access to a secondary lot that doesn't get used very often right now, but during softball season does get used. There will be a bed there to prevent any access of cars or vehicles or buggies onto the trail that will be more congested or more concentrated with evergreens and decorative trees. Also, two sections of split rail fence. Continuing south, that's where it gets more concentrated, about 20 trees in that section. There's two sections of evergreens that are for screening for the houses. And then half would be like an eastern white pine, and then different shade trees to go in. We've been in conversations with Mark about species and placement. We haven't gotten like detailed, but more we're just working on numbers and kind of where we want the majority of the trees or beds. Our vision, again, continuing south, is kind of repeating that system, moving down towards 700. At the very end of 700 is another bed that kind of welcomes you to Berne, more landscaped, has space for a possible, like again, the sidewalks and the road on 700 that's getting redone. If that sidewalk ever continues across 27, we want to be able to have room to put that in and not have to take anything out or disrupt anything there. Everything that is planted back off the trail, we envision being in a more meadow-based landscape. Doesn't need to be mowed around, doesn't need to be taken care of. Taken care of to an extent that if branches are down or branches need to be trimmed or whatnot, but having to mow around them, having to mulch them, having to weed them, having to do all that stuff, we want this to kind of turn into a natural meadow, natural landscape for the community to experience and just kind of be out in nature, but still within the city limits.
So, so what I understand with what you're just saying, maybe like only like one pass of mowing along the actual trail itself.
Correct. I gotta count that again, but I think there's maybe 8 to 10 trees that would be within that one, maybe 60 inches from the trail that we would focus on, those really covering the trail for shade. Everything else would be a mature tree would shade the trail. We're not expecting that in the first 5 years of those trees' lives, but those 8 to 10 that are right along may have to be mowed around. But other than that, the rest of them it's kind of at the discretion of who would be maintaining the grasses. If they want a straight line, it's a straight line. If they want a curved line. But
So how far off the trail will they be? 5 feet?
those 8 to 10 trees, everything else will be back probably more at 10 feet.
Okay,
At least 10 to
as
12.
long as they can get a mower around there without. And how much distance between the trees is there?
Certain sections it's 15 to 20. Other sections, depending on the species of the tree, it's down to 10.
But those would eventually grow together.
Correct.
And not have to be maintained.
Nope.
Where's the arch go right here at the end of across the hole, right close to the road, or right back?
The arch wouldn't be pictured in there. It's coming off the senior center parking lot.
Oh,
That's the north side of the pool.
Okay.
Yep.
You guys are missing. Okay. You guys are missing more too.
So
All
where
right.
Where the evergreens are gonna be to shield the residential
Mhm.
areas, will those have any kind of border around it
So-
so that you can mow?
Yes, so those would be a mulch bed, and I believe there's 2 of those on that. I believe it's section 3 of the papers there. There's one on the north and one on the south, and it would be a 3 evergreen kind of mound for screening. And then the one on the far south side, that would also be a mulched area, the bucket ending the entrance to Berne.
I, from what you're saying, you're trying to make it, what I'm hearing, you're trying to make it mower friendly as well.
Absolutely. We want to respect that we're giving this back to the city when we're done with it. We also want to respect that we're giving it back to the community when we're done with it, and that this is for the community, whether that's for exercising, whether that's just for a peaceful walk, whether that's for scenery, whether that's for someone going out wanting to take pictures with family, friends, whatever.
Yeah.
We want it to be used for just about anything within reason of what the purpose of it is for. And then we also want to respect the community that borders us. The farmers that are farming, we want to be able to let them farm as much as they can. We want people to see that. We want people to see what our community is about, where we're at, where we're located, especially for those that are coming in from Fort Wayne, whether they're coming north from Portland or Muncie, to walk this trail, see Geneva, see Berne, and see Southern Adams County for what for what it's worth and what we love about it. And by putting in these trees, I feel like we're making a boundary between the homes and the trail, as well as providing a comfortable experience to see the beauty that surrounds our community.
Right, I like the idea of the trees on the west. I like trails, but I don't like a bright shining sun when I'm hot.
Yes.
So appreciate that. And yeah, it's like, just like any other niche or whatever you want to call it, there's a trails community. As far as people look for trails, type in trails, Berne, Indiana, Adams County. So another way for them to find us.
Is there any kind of a barrier south of the softball diamond where the stone is at to keep the wrong type of vehicles or whatever off?
Yes.
Is it a fence or
We are,
gonna be a-
so the way that the property lines line up, we did go a little bit further. But these two red lines will be two 8-foot sections of split rail fence, and then there will be a gate that connects the two.
Okay,
And then that, we haven't decided on the type of gate.
this is the softball
Yeah,
diamond
that's,
here.
yeah, that's the
Okay,
field.
okay,
So right now the trails owns by the field, and then
yeah, okay,
here. So if we come across, we have enough space to put a tree, there's an evergreen there, and we can drop another tree to prevent them from going around to the east or the west.
I just know there's been one car on it already.
Yeah, we were,
Maybe the softball diamond
yes.
this summer, and I think have the buggies, has anybody seen buggies on it or anything?
I've
We
heard
saw-
a recent report.
Recent
Yeah, we
report?
saw fresh trails that we found.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we're hoping to get the
We saw
split.
some golf carts on there too, didn't we, Jeremy?
Oh, yeah, we did. Mine.
Are those prohibited because they're motorized or battery
Correct.
powered?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then,
So the other thing is there gonna be signage put up that says no horse-drawn?
Yes,
Buggies and no
there will
golf
be, there will be signs
Okay.
the same as there are in
Not that
Geneva.
people will look at them, but
Right.
or read them.
We did move one of the signs today, to Berne. We just took it out of Sealand and put it up in Berne until we get
Yeah.
our signs in place. And there will be a bollard at 700 and a bollard at the parking lot entrance at the senior center
To keep cars
to,
or.
yeah,
motorized.
get
I think
the
that's gonna
point
be a
across
problem.
that
It's going to
no,
be
no
that
motorized
Once
vehicles,
you
no
cross 700,
buggies.
because there's a bunch of brush,
correct.
covering the trail.
Correct. Our goal is, at the ends with again, with the bed, more of the maintained beds, which our trail board is very active on the trail. If there's an issue or if there's something that needs to be taken care of, we reach out to the county, but at the same time, we offer up our assistance of, hey, if you don't have someone to send out here real quick, we can get a couple guys together and go take care of it, whether that's, branches down, a tree down,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
weeds, mulch,
Randy and I have done that a few times.
After this last rain, I got a phone call. Someone was rollerblading down the trail, and it was pretty stick ridden, and we had some stone wash out from some of the access points by CMA Auto, and I was able to get out there and blow off the trail and shovel the stone off the trail, and again, that's things that we look for in our board and people that are on our board, and we take a lot of pride in the way it looks and the way that it's going to be kept up. So
You may have said, how many trees and shrubs combined?
there's 52 on the plan there, and then I think there's probably 24 grasses and shrubs.
All right.
I really like the way it's laid out. I mean, I think the natural look, I think is great. I think it's definitely going to be beneficial today as well as in the future. Jeremy, any thoughts?
I love it.
Any
I
concerns
guess
or
it's good. And I think by the way they're planning to do it, to make it more convenient if you do mow around them, and that's thinking ahead.
And they're on the wall if something happens, they're right there to.
help take care of the issue.
Yeah, so I'm 100%.
I'll try to make sure that our mowing crew knows to blow the grass to the west and not across the path. to
Not on the
east
trail.
Yeah.
and keep it
Well,
off the trail.
yeah,
Go down one side, come down the other.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But because there will be grass on the east side to mow, I'm taking it.
Yeah, most
certain
places
strip,
will be at least a good strip.
Yep.
One good strip or more.
But that's the one thing that
Well,
drives me nuts,
yeah,
is grass that's blown out on the street and left there. So,
Well, in years moving forward, the farmers weren't in the ground yet when we paved, were they? Because now that we're paved, I mean, farmers got a boundary, so,
yeah, and if they have to mow it to the west, you can still make a pass down the trail
right,
to blow
Yeah.
it off.
Yeah.
Is what I'm getting at.
yeah,
Because you blow grass on there and leave it there, that just ruins the appearance and makes it look ugly.
Does anybody want to make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion, we approve the South Adams Trail tree and shrub planting plan for the trails from 700 to.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
we appreciate it.
I do have this proposal about done. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Tonight or tomorrow.
When's stuff happening?
Hopefully this fall.
Most of it can be done this fall.
This guy doing
We volunteered.
Next fall?
that? That's all you could get? I mean, place it right there.
Hey. Subsidized.
I'll send this to the board so everybody has it.
Okay,
Do you want these copies back?
sure.
Yeah, really appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
So, thank you.
So
What's your name?
this is connected to South, how far
SCALAURA.
does South Adams go to the county?
And then Schwartz.
You,
The,
as far as your responsibility for your committee,
to the roundabout, just north of Casey Point. Right there,
Or
right
the
the
casing board,
oh, okay.
there's a little circle with a bench there.
Oh, okay, so that's where you guys,
Does it go any further, or this is where it stops?
At the moment, that's where it stops. We have it all the way from there, Rainbow Lake, and then all the way up to Senior Center. And then, once we finish up this year, then we'll be kind of discussing which direction we go from there.
Future plans, the railroad bed does continue south through Geneva, so connecting from the circle in front of Rainbow Lake to Lime Street would be a good next step. But there's also a connection at Snow Cemetery around the Wabash River that takes you out to the ceiling covered bridge if you haven't been out there yet.
Yeah, it's really nice. I've been out there a few times between Berne and Geneva. Yeah, this is a great thing.
well, then you have to wind around Geneva and then get back on that red gold somewhere, or?
Yes, or we would go east on 116 and come around the river, make a loop. And then the other option would,
Go by the Love Valley,
yeah,
Oh, okay. On
that'd
the
be
east
another
side.
option.
Yeah.
But the Bryant Trail connects there on the state line, or county line road, right? To south of Red Gold.
and then Bluffton's been coming southeast into the state park, and then they just put in paddle launch.
Whole
So-
16.
There's lots of options for our board, and we're excited about just completing stuff and then seeing which way we want to go. But connecting communities.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks
Thank
again
you.
for being here, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna be in town the next day or two also. working.
Great.
We'll be around.
Moving on with the next item, would be to, review and approve the minutes from the June 2nd meeting. Take a look at those quick, and somebody wants to make a motion. If you see any changes, I guess.
I'll make a motion, we accept the minutes from last meeting as presented.
Thank you.
I was the one that wrote the minutes, so probably somebody else should approve them.
I wasn't here.
Can't do a
Steven.
second.
I'll second. That's
I
fine.
didn't
All in
I didn't
favor?
know, I forgot.
Aye.
I,
I don't know that it matters.
moving on to the next item here would be the budget. We started out the 2025 year with 50,000. As of the end of last week, we're at 40,639 is where we're currently at. That's the remaining budget for this year. Moving that takes us into the next item there. The tree request and maintenance. Gary couldn't be here tonight. He's under the weather a little bit, I guess. But he did talk about, as of right now, he doesn't know of any big maintenance things coming up. Ben Gariner mentioned a couple weeks ago that there's approximately 5 or 6 trees at Lehman Park, Senior Center, pool area that need to be looked at here for possible take down this fall. Some safety issues. There's a couple large ash, I believe, in the Senior Center area that will probably have to be taken down. So we take that in consideration, approximately 5 or 6. Then there's a handful of maintenance issues that I noticed. I don't know if anybody else has anything they noticed. There's a dead tree, 3 to 4 inch dead tree at the corner of East Hoosier and Welty. It's right on the intersection there. It looks like it was probably planted, I'm guessing, in the last 3 to 5 years probably. It's 100% dead. There's also a dead tree, Parr Road, just east of Bruce Lehman's car lot, the brick house that he has there.
Right.
It's right along part. It's about right on the borderline of Bruce's property and the North Pond property. It's right along Parr Road there. That's probably like a 6 or 8 inch tree, but it's a small crab. And then there's a tree at 569 East Main Street. It appears from the road, it appears to be like 3/4 dead. I'm not saying it's 100% takedown. Maybe with the weather we had here in the last month and a half, maybe was stressed pretty bad. It might be something we look at next spring if it comes out or not. But that's a possible spot. Then I also mentioned the big trees at Lehman Park. Like I said, Gary doesn't know of any other big trees coming down at this point. So
Nathan, somebody said something to me, and I forgot to say something to Gary earlier, that there's a tree in the cul-de-sac at Shorewood Drive
okay,
that Mark Zellmeyer said is dead.
it's in the middle of cul-de-sac.
Yeah, it's, like,
They got the big the landscape area there.
yeah, I haven't driven past to see it, and like I said, I forgot to tell Gary, but somebody said something to me about it, or I heard it, and then Mark says it's dead.
Okay.
I can say something to Gary to see if he can check it out, just to verify.
Okay. I can get them the list of some of these other smaller trees as well.
There's not, yeah, there's, it can't be that big in there, I wouldn't think. Maybe it is, maybe.
One of those has a pretty decent sized tree, and I'm trying to remember which one it is.
Well, there'd only be one cul-de-sac probably, wouldn't there? Circles. Down to
There's
back.
two back there.
There's two back here.
Oh, is there?
The next street to the south, there's a cul-de-sac.
Uh,
That's on,
Shady Oak.
Shady Oak, I think, or something like that. That would be the only two that are back there, though, in a cul-de-sac.
Am I wrong? Is Shorewood over across from the Wellman Center? Or
No.
Muscle Center?
This is back.
Oh, that's back behind.
Off of Mill
Bikers.
Pond.
Back, oh.
Yeah, like Dave Beitler's is one of them.
Behind.
So first,
Oh,
the first,
those
okay,
two
yeah,
back
yeah, yeah,
there.
yeah.
so first street that
Let's
goes,
see how those were.
east.
What's the name of
you
the
come down
subdivision
Belmont.
what's the name of the subdivision that Musselman started?
West Wind.
West End, that's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah. If you want to say something to him, and I can also put it on my list and give him the list of the maintenance issues I just mentioned.
Here's one right out the window.
Oh, just across.
Franklin and Hendricks here at the corner. I just saw it the other morning. I don't know if it was,
It's
a little at the top is alive, but
It's an old ash tree.
It's a Cleveland Select pear. It looks
Oh.
like it's just right across the street over here. Yeah, I'll make a list for Gary and share these with him. We'll take a look at a couple of these that we just mentioned.
So all of these possibly could be locations for replacement
Yeah.
trees now too.
I have that down too for some street trees that have been requested. A few of them were requested this spring that we didn't plant. There's three. 511 North Jefferson, 566 Baltimore, and 165 Frond Street. They all have either came into the city hall and filled out a paper, or Terry Bowling, I believe, had some big trees taken down, I think, on
Correct.
Jefferson,
two of them.
and he's asking for some replacements, and I think he wants. I have to ask Gary again, but he had a specific request. An oak tree, some oaks. I believe.
Specific, yeah.
I'll have to ask him exactly what he was asking for, but he's wanting the ones that were taken down to be replaced.
Yeah. And I chose not to plant because it was just so sketchy with the rain the last 6 weeks or so.
I figured some of these street trees we should probably wait
Yeah,
till fall to plant.
yeah. Since I didn't know for sure who was gonna take care of anything.
Sure.
So I chose not to plant right now. But if I'm doing this other project, I'll be getting a bunch of fresh stuff in, so.
Okay.
But eventually we'll need just a complete list sooner than later,
Sure.
I guess, so I can get them ordered.
Okay. At the last meeting, we briefly touched on the Spurner Street extended. We've talked about this a couple different times. There is, in fact, 11 trees there that are underneath the power line, or they will be. The trees were there first. The power line went through. We've talked about moving them. They're decent size now to probably move. So we've talked about planting the second row back with the intentions of the power company at some point probably cutting a good portion of them down, or maybe like every other one, depending on how it goes. That could be a potential spot to plant maybe 6 of them if we split the difference between all of them to start the second row. There's several different varieties out there. I don't think there's definitely some oaks. I don't think they're all the same, but Is that something that we should look at doing, is plan six, split the difference between the trees?
Yeah,
at
and
least
just
get-
move them back.
Right, that's a
Is the
good plan
trail
for the
group
future.
buying all those trees, or are they reaching out to us to provide any along the trail?
Which trail?
For the South Adams Trail.
They're covering that cost
Okay.
on their own.
Okay,
Yeah, they're
That's
funding that.
okay.
Yeah, and that's,
Everything they've told me,
they,
they have the donors are they're covering that cost.
Or sponsorship.
Yeah, Jeremy did mention they put something on their website that you could buy or sponsor 2 or 3 trees or 1 tree, or
Okay.
there's an option on their website for that. But that's all through their project.
Well, I think we might as well plant on 6 trees down there then, that way get them ordered in.
Okay.
That was a reference to Springer Street Extended.
Yes, Springer Street extended behind the ones that are under the power lines.
Does anybody else have any suggestions for any other fall plannings? With the budget that we have remaining, they always ask us to save money at the end of the year for emergency situation, ice storms and things like that. But we probably will have some funds that we can try to plant some more street trees, or the park's off limits. The fire station's off. Well, that's pretty much been the last few years.
what, did they get the garage landscape then?
The pardon?
The
New city garage,
city garage?
They're not to
did
that
they get
point
it
yet.
done?
It's not to that point yet.
so that'll probably be a next year thing, possibly.
Yeah, I'm not sure when they're gonna come in and do the final grading, because there was a delay on the steel for the mezzanine inside. And so the building was supposed to be, everything was supposed to be done like the end of September, 1st October, so it got pushed back to the end of December, 1st of January.
Okay.
So it's gonna be occupied.
Mhm.
So I don't know for sure about the landscaping part, if they're planning to do some of that work yet this fall, or,
Boy, it'd be nice to
Not
plant the
obvious.
grass at this time of year.
yeah, I'll have to find, they're supposed to be able to get it graded and plant grass and all that stuff before the building's done and lay asphalt. So prior to still an asphalt season for this year yet. So ideally, we were hoping everything could get done and the last fall would be the last thing they do, but it didn't work out that way. So I don't know what that looks like as far as
Tree planting.
tree planting.
Well, not necessarily, just it'd be nice, just in general, get the grass started.
Right, yeah.
So that could possibly be a spot. If we can't do it anymore this fall, we could possibly look at next year planting a few out there.
If they're needed, yeah.
Does anybody else have any other suggestions on spots that we could, at this point?
Is 700 South getting the sidewalk or anything
Yeah.
all the way down?
It's gonna, once that sidewalk goes in, that's probably gonna be pretty tight between the sidewalk and the curb, and,
Yeah,
yeah.
I wouldn't suggest planting any trees between the curb and the sidewalk. Probably be asking for uprooted sidewalk down the road.
Right, there's not a lot of room.
Mhm.
If nobody else has any other suggestions on that, we'll move on. Does anybody have any other topics they want to talk about, or anything you want to discuss? Mayor, anything? You can see the next meeting date, October 6th, Monday, October 6th, 6 o'clock, same City Hall. Nobody else has anything? Somebody want to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that a motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Hope there's enough to carry.
I'm waiting for the thumbs down.